Hey guys, welcome back to the Christian Nerds Unite podcast. I'm your host, Ricky Pope, and Disney made some huge announcements a little over a week ago, and we're going to talk about some of the most exciting ones today, right after this. The beginning of a new year is when many people start thinking about their goals, and I'm no exception. The Goal Process 101 ebook has helped me clarify the best and most achievable goals for me, plus helped me set a plan in place to accomplish them. I mean, this podcast is just one of the results of using the Goal Process 101 ebook. Check it out at christiannerdsunite.com/goals. It helped me. I'm sure it can help you too. Now, back to the show. Man, Disney made some huge announcements, and I want to go through some of the most exciting ones today. And you guys know I always like starting off with little scripture. So we're going to start with this scripture, Ecclesiastes 3:1-3. To everything there is a season and a time to every purpose under heaven. A time to be born, a time to die, a time to plant, and a time to pluck up that which is planted. A time to kill and a time to heal. A time to break down, and a time to build up. And definitely, this seems to be the time for announcement season. So many announcements over the last just couple of weeks from Disney, Warner Brothers, some of the big players making huge announcements. Today, we're going to talk about all the Disney stuff. Now, they made a 4-hour presentation, so there's no way I can go over all of this, but I want to go through some of the biggest and most important ones today. Obviously this was the investor report for Disney, and they're hoping to boost their stock a little bit after the COVID pandemic kind of dampened some of their earnings, especially the theme parks. So Disney Plus is definitely the focus. Right now, they're saying they have 86 million subscribers already just in their first year. And within the next 3 or 4 years, they're hoping to triple that number. Now, for those of you who do already have Disney Plus or are thinking about getting it, be aware, Disney says it's going to go up by $1 in March. So it's going to cost $7.99 from now on per month. They generally have a discount for the annual fee. And if you're like me, you jumped on board early and you signed up for the 3-year commitment. That was a little crazy of me, but I paid all up front. But I got a better deal in the long run. And I won't have to pay that extra dollar at least for another year or so. But Disney Plus, Star Wars, and Marvel definitely led the way in the presentation, but there was some quick information about Hulu and FX networks. Tons of original content that's going to Hulu and going to the FX network. A couple of things on the Hulu side, the Disney Searchlight and the 20th Century Studios, that's the 20th Century Fox Studios that were purchased and no longer called Fox anymore. But a lot of that content is going to go straight to Hulu, a lot of those films. So that's an interesting turn of events there. If you're a Handmaid's Tale fan, that has been renewed for a 4th season and renewed for a 5th as well. So lots of exciting things over there. One thing that's interesting at Fox and that will be going on to Hulu is a new Alien franchise show. It has the support of Ridley Scott, although best of my understanding, he's not actively involved in it. It's going to be considered the not too far into the future of Earth, but it's going to exist in the Aliens universe. So we'll have to wait and see what that's going to be like. It looks like it's being produced by FX and going to be on the Hulu platform. Now, let's get to some more fun. Let's look at Lucasfilm. So we're talking about the Star Wars franchises. Obviously, leading the way this year has definitely been The Mandalorian Season 2, Baby Yoda. If you prefer the Baby Yoda show, The Child, or if you're spoiler alert, if you haven't caught up yet, we now have a name for Baby Yoda, Grogu. So if you're up for calling him that, feel free. Disney is also developing 2 live-action Mandalorian spin-offs, and that's pretty exciting. Now, listen for the end of the show. Very end of the show, I'm going to give one more Mandalorian spoiler and another announcement that Disney just made. So, but first, 2 Mandalorian spinoffs. One is going to be Rangers of the New Republic, and another is going to be Ahsoka. That is going to be Rosario Dawson's show, which kind of turns The Mandalorian Chapter 13 into a backdoor pilot for a brand new show. Now, what that show is going to be, what the themes of that show are going to be is a little unclear. Obviously, Ahsoka Tano is going to be the main character of the show. And in the Mandalorian series, the Chapter 13, she specifically calls out Thrawn, looking for Thrawn. So will this be a series of her searching for Thrawn? I hope so. I love that storyline. I think it would be a great way to make this work. Expect a crossover event again with The Mandalorian and the Rangers of the New Republic and Ahsoka. I think it's going to be great stuff. Another is going to be a Rogue One spinoff called Andor. So we're looking at Cassian Andor, one of the spies, going to tell some of his story, and we're going to see Mon Mothma as a character in that show. It should be great with Diego Luna as the main character, or the main actor. Going to be something to look at. We don't have dates on that one yet, so I'm suspecting 2022. 2022 could be huge Disney plus Star Wars stuff going on. Ewan McGregor is going to come back for the Obi-Wan Kenobi show on Disney Plus. That's super exciting. Looks like that's probably just going to be a miniseries, just a one-shot miniseries, not a continuing series like Mandalorian. I'm a little disappointed there, but I can understand, especially with actors like Ewan McGregor signing on board. Now, one other bit of news is Hayden Christensen will reprise his Darth Vader role in the show as well. So if you're a Hayden Christensen fan, you'll love that. If you're a Hayden Christensen hater, then you might not like that. But you don't have to look at his face. You get to see him as Darth Vader. So there's that. Disney, on the Lucasfilm Star Wars side, has 3 animated series planned. The Bad Batch, Visions, and A Droid Story. Now, we don't have a whole lot of information about each of these shows. They did show a trailer of The Bad Batch, and it looks awesome. We're looking at clone troopers that had some problems in their development, and possibly clone troopers that refused Order 66. That's my belief. I don't have confirmation on that, but we will see what exactly comes of that animated series. Then we have the Lando spinoff series. Will we see Donald Glover reprise the Lando character? I don't know. We'll have to see on that one. There was little information, but it does exist. Another is The Acolyte. Going to be more of a mystery thriller kind of of Star Wars show, the emerging dark side, and it's going to be set in the High Republic era. So that'll be something new for us to see, possibly happening on Coruscant. And that would be great to see more of the world of Coruscant. Patty Jenkins is going to be directing a Star Wars movie called Rogue Squadron. I am hopeful for this. Patty Jenkins was the director of Wonder Woman. She did a phenomenal job in that movie. I'm concerned about Rogue Squadron because it's technically based on a video game, and generally video game movies have not done well in the past. So we'll have to see. It is going to be a feature film. It's unclear as to whether this will be a Disney Plus feature film or if this will go to theaters. My guess is it's going to be Disney Plus rather than theaters, but we shall see. Will we see Luke Skywalker and Wedge Antilles in this show? I don't know yet. Those were two of the main characters for the video game, so it would make sense that they were, but how are they going to do that? A lot of people are saying Sebastian Stan would be a great option to play a younger Luke Skywalker. But if that doesn't happen pretty fast, well, Sebastian Stan is going to age out too. So we shall see what they do. I'm hoping that they actually, if they have these characters, I'm hoping they actually go ahead and cast a new person in the role rather than doing some of the creative CGI stuff we saw in the films 7, 8, and 9. It looked okay. It's definitely not there yet, but it's looking better and better every time they do it. Lucasfilms is not just Star Wars. Keep in mind, Warwick Davis, who is an actor in some of the Star Wars movies that you may recognize, he is coming back for a Willow Disney Plus series. We'll see what that comes about. We're not sure yet. And a movie I'm absolutely not interested in, and I'm only mentioning it because it's so cringeworthy, is Indiana Jones 5, not yet titled. It's been pushed back multiple times. They're saying July 2022. As far as I know, they haven't confirmed all the cast, and they haven't actually shot anything. I don't know how July 2022 is going to happen at this point. It could, but I wouldn't hold my breath. And honestly, you know, Harrison Ford, I love you, man, but hang it up. Yeah, no more Indiana Jones for you. Okay, let's move on with the world. One thing that a lot of people are excited about is Percy Jackson and the Olympians. And the hope is that they're really trying to make up for the sins of the film franchise. And we shall see how that goes. You know, with some of the things we've seen at Disney Plus TV, it is possible that Percy Jackson and the Olympians is going to be a great series. I am hopeful. I think it could be with the right casting and the right directors and the right writers. And that's going to be the key. You know, we've got to get the right writers in the right place. And they really have to know the stories and love the stories to be effective. And that's part of what Mandalorian's beauty has been, that the directors and writers and actors, they absolutely love Star Wars, and they are very committed to creating something that is right in line with what Star Wars is expected to be. So hopefully Percy Jackson and the Olympians can do that as well. Disney films, lots of Disney films, several remakes and sequels of older comedies, and some that are going to turn into animated versions. So we're looking at, like, there's going to be an animated Diary of a Wimpy Kid and Night at the Museum. If you like those movies, that may be something up your alley. One movie that I think is interesting from Disney films, I was not familiar with it, and I'm curious about it. It's called Flora and Ulysses. Basically, a 10-year-old Flora, an avid comic book fan, teams up with her super powered squirrel friend that she saves. That's just the weirdest premise I've ever heard. I'm like, is this like Squirrel Girl wannabe? Is this what is this exactly? I don't know exactly what this is, but it's definitely something to keep on your radar. And let's wait and see what Disney Films comes out with. Because of the Fox merger with Disney, the purchase, one thing that came along with that is Blue Sky Studio. And if you're not familiar with Blue Sky or you don't recognize the name, think Ice Age. All of the Ice Age movies, all of the movies that were in that same vein, that have that same look and style, they all came from Blue Sky Studios, and now they're all part of Disney. So Ice Age is going to continue now with a Disney bent. So we'll see how that looks. Robert Zemeckis has a Pinocchio movie coming out with Tom Hanks. It's going to be live action. So we will see what that is. Tom Hanks is going to be Geppetto, and I'm sure there will be tons of CGI, but this could be an interesting movie. And along with that, going back to, we're bringing back old properties and seeing what we can do with them. Whoopi Goldberg apparently has signed on with Disney to do Sister Act 3. Now, I mention this mainly because my family loves the Sister Act movies. So if you're a fan of those and you like Whoopi Goldberg, this could be something you're interested in. Some movies coming to theaters: Jungle Cruise with The Rock, Dwayne Johnson, set for July 2021. So we're finally going to get that movie out there. I'm not sure about this one. You think of movies that are based on video games don't do very well. How is a movie based on a Disney ride going to do? I'm not sure what this one's going to do. There is going to be a live action Lion King prequel. We'll see about that. Obviously, tons of CGI in that. So I give you the live action in quotes. And then there's the live action Little Mermaid that everyone has been super excited about for quite some time. We don't have dates on those yet, but we shall see. Disney Animation also has some exciting things coming out. Raya and the Last Dragon looks phenomenal. The trailers look great. Coming out March 5th, 2021. So it's just a few months away. Starring Kelly Marie Tran and Awkwafina. It's going to be in theaters, and Disney says they're going to do Premiere Access. Now, if you're not familiar with Premiere Access, that's what they did with the Mulan movie. Premiere Access means you can watch it on Disney Plus for an additional fee. And that means it's going to be out in theaters and on Disney Plus at the same time, presumably. We're going to have to see how all that works out. But that's an exciting turn of things, a turn of events. Since they are going to do Premiere Access, it sounds like Mulan did well enough that it's worth doing. Now, I wonder why we're not seeing that for more movies from Disney if it did so well. Disney Animation is doing lots of shows on some existing properties. Going to be a Lightning McQueen show, and several other existing properties are getting new updates. But this one is a little different. Kind of branching out from their well-known names, Disney's collaborating with an African entertainment company called Kalinga, and I'm probably butchering all these names, to create a science fiction series called Iwayu. That's set in the future version of Lagos, and it's going to premiere in 2022. So that's kind of an interesting idea. I want to know more about this idea. This is going to be an African science fiction series. It's a great premise, and we'll see what it looks like. You can't talk about Disney without talking about Pixar. And Soul is the big news right now, coming out Disney Plus basically right now. If you're listening to this, around Christmas 2020. So Soul is either out or about to be out, depending on when you're listening to this. But their next feature is coming June 2021, and it's called Luca, about two best friends growing up in Italy. If you're a Pixar fan, you know how much heart these movies tend to have. I think it's going to be great. But the big announcement and the weird announcement is a movie that's coming out June 17th, 2022, starring Chris Evans as Buzz Lightyear. Now, what does that mean? Now, they're saying this is not the toy Buzz Lightyear. This is the actual factual original Buzz Lightyear that the toy is based on. So I'm gathering this is the kind of premise of this story. So we have a human that's actually named Buzz Lightyear, and the analog in the real world, it's kind of a Buzz Aldrin kind of character. Test pilot, someone who does these extreme things and is shot into space for the first time. My guess is that's what this is going to be. And that all the Buzz Lightyear other stuff, all the Buzz Lightyear cartoon that was on Disney, the Buzz Lightyear that exists in the Toy Story universe, that the idea is that this real actual person actually existed, did some amazing things, and then they took that person, that name and that character, and they turned it into Buzz Lightyear Space Ranger. My guess is this Buzz Lightyear is not going to be a Space Ranger. He's just going to be an astronaut test pilot kind of guy. But a great place to start. We'll see how it works. I like that they picked Chris Evans. I think it's a great choice. Talking to some other people, they were like, well, why isn't it going to be, the original voice? Well, okay, if this is the real person rather than the character / toy, it makes sense that it's not going to be the original voice actor. And so I think Chris Evans is a great option. We already have him in the Marvel camp, so it's not a stretch moving him over to Pixar. Last but not least, we have Marvel. And I say not least because there are so many Marvel announcements. Oh my goodness, so much. I'm going to kind of blast through some of this, and I'm going to tell you some of my predictions and some of the things I think are going to happen here. I'm super excited about what Kevin Feige came out and said during the investor report. Some amazing stuff. We definitely have our WandaVision coming out January 15th. We got a new trailer. It looks really good. Interesting things in the new trailer. There is Monica Rambeau, who has a moment of, I don't know why I'm here. And we have a question to Wanda. Are you here to help us? So, unless they're doing a misdirect, which I never, anytime I watch a trailer, I always go, okay, is this a misdirect or are they giving you a hint? And I'm not sure which it is. If they're giving us a hint, the question comes down to, is Wanda imprisoned here? Are these characters imprisoned here? And they're hopeful that Wanda can help them escape? Or is this some other kind of situation? Is this a situation where they're trying to contain Wanda? Or is this a situation where Wanda is trying to contain herself and keep the world out? I don't know the answer to that yet, but it's super interesting, and I think it's going to just be an amazing series. Definitely, the trailer didn't do anything other than give me more questions. Falcon and Winter Soldier dropped a new trailer. Looks really great. Couple of things they said. They said this is going to be more like a feature film split into 6 episodes. So with that in mind, it's a little bit different. So rather than The Mandalorian, where we have a story arc, but each episode is independent, if this is more like a feature film in 6 installments, each installment may not make sense by itself. It may, every episode may be cliffhanger. Every episode may simply build on itself so that without watching all 6, it doesn't make sense as one cohesive unit. There are some episodes of Mandalorian you could sit down and watch just the episode of Mandalorian. It would make sense from beginning to end. You may not know everything. You may not see the overarching arc of the series, but you could make sense of it. If it's a feature film split into 6 episodes, that's probably not going to work with Falcon and Winter Soldier. So I'm not sure how that's going to play out. We shall see. There's a line in the trailer. Once again, is this a misdirect or is this an actual quote? The way they cut it, it actually could be a quote that doesn't exist. But the comment says, "The legend of that shield is complicated." And along with some other things that happen in the actual trailer, it looks like this may be kind of a buddy movie, which is, kind of what we expected, but with lots of internal conflict. Maybe there is some argument there as to, with Falcon and Winter Soldier, as to who should hold the shield. Is there some inner conflict with, who's really in charge here? Is it, Falcon? Is it the Winter Soldier? There's definitely going to be some interesting interpersonal interactions there. And they even show some of those in the trailer where Falcon jumps out of an airplane and the Winter Soldier goes, "Okay, so I guess we don't have a plan." Conflict always makes great drama. So we shall see what that one looks like. The Loki film has a new trailer and it looks amazing. Possibly some time hopping here going on in the Loki movie. We already know there is some. And the question is, kind of Loki do we have? Theoretically, if we have the Loki that has the Tesseract, we have the bad Loki that never had a redemption arc. And at the very end of the trailer, there is a scene where Loki jumps out of an airplane after grabbing a bag full of money, and then he is sucked up into the Rainbow Bridge. And it looks amazing. But what it really looks like is the story of D.B. Cooper. So are they going to take Loki and drop him into different time areas where he ends up being some famous bad person? And so in this shot, it looks like they're saying, okay, so DB Cooper, if you're not familiar with the story, DB Cooper, robber, hijacker, jumps out of an airplane with a bag full of money, never to be found. So if Loki is DB Cooper, who else is he going to be in history? And if that's the way they go, I think this is going to be an amazing series. I'm super excited about it. What If, going to be one of my favorites, I think, animated series from Marvel. And summer of 2021 is when we're expecting it. We already know from the trailer some of the storylines that are going to happen in What If. If you're not familiar with What If is alternate Marvel universes that may or may not exist. The idea is everything exists in the Marvel universe. There's a universe for everything where everything's different. So we know at least 3 stories that are going to happen. One, the idea that what if Sharon Carter took the super soldier serum and became a Captain Britain rather than having Steve Rogers become Captain America. Then we have a Marvel Zombies that looks really great. Now, that was a mini series in the Marvel Comics universe. So if you haven't checked that out, you might check it out. It's a great series. What if a young T'Challa is taken into space and becomes Star-Lord? A lot of the what if stories are, what if what happened to this one character actually happened to someone else? And it looks like that's where the major focus is going to be for the Marvel What If show on Disney Plus. A lot of people are excited about Black Widow coming to theaters May 7th, 2021. From all the talk, it looks like this is not going to be a premiere access movie, so you won't be able to watch it on Disney Plus. Will that change? I don't know. If theaters continue to stay closed and don't open back up, that could change. A new revelation for me personally over the last couple of weeks, because I hadn't realized what this was. I was under the impression that it was going to be a Black Widow origin story movie, which that part of that origin story is going to be revealed in the movie. But the focus of the movie is actually going to be between Civil War and Infinity War. So it's a different time frame than I thought it was going to be. I'm looking forward to seeing all the Russian superheroes, and Red Guardian is going to be an interesting character. We will see how he plays out and what happens there. Big news is Shang-Chi, The Legend of the Ten Rings, has wrapped shooting. So they're expecting to release that July 9th, 2021. I think that is totally doable if they already wrapped shooting. Now, that's a lot of work, especially if there are a lot of special effects. A lot of special effects to be done in 6 months. That's a lot of work to put out, but it could happen. Hopefully that one doesn't get delayed. I am hopeful we get to see a real Mandarin with 10 rings that have super powered effects. That will be a great, interesting story to have happen. I've been looking forward to this movie for several years, ever since they announced it. Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness, still scheduled for March 25th, 2022. And that is going to be a movie that changes the Marvel Universe. We're expecting to see a new character, America Chavez, who in the comics goes by Miss America, and she is part of the Young Avengers. Now, I bring that up because of some other things that are happening. Along with her, we also have a show from Disney Plus called Hawkeye. Jeremy Renner is going to reprise his Hawkeye persona, and we have Haley Steinfeld as another archer named Kate Bishop, who becomes basically the replacement for Hawkeye, a teenage girl, also part of the Young Avengers. Now, why is this important? Let's rewind all the way back to WandaVision. In the WandaVision trailer, you see her have 2 children, twins. The twins in the trailer are just babies. But in the comics, they grow up to become Wiccan and Speed. Now, we don't know what that's going to be like. We don't know if those 2 children are going to grow up in the WandaVision universe. Are they real? Do they exist? Do they grow up? Do they grow up to become part of the, guess again, the Young Avengers? So now we have a possible 4 characters that could be in the Young Avengers. Well, but wait, there's more. We also have Miss Marvel. And Disney is planning on blending the Disney Plus TV shows and the movies quite a bit in the future. Going to be close tie-ins. So Miss Marvel, there's going to be a Disney Plus live action show for Miss Marvel, and she's a young teen that has these superpowers. We're expecting to see her in Captain Marvel 2, which is supposed to be out in November of 2022. Also can be part of the Young Avengers. Then we have an Ironheart series coming out. with the inventor Riri Williams, starring Dominique Thorne. Now, she also could be a great asset to the Young Avengers. So you can see where this is going. If all of this is a big Feige plan, expect there to be a Young Avengers show or a Young Avengers movie coming in the future. When will that be? I don't know. Will it be Phase 5? I'm not sure. We have to see all these characters come to life, and we have to see all these characters have a good run. Then, if that happens, then we can have a Young Avengers show. We'll see what that looks like. A couple of other quick things that they announced. They mentioned the Moon Knight series. I really want to see that. Don't know yet what that's going to look like. We definitely do have a She-Hulk cast. Tatiana Maslany is going to be She-Hulk, and I think this one's going to be a fun movie or a fun show. They're saying it's going to be a comedy, which I'm a little disappointed about. I was looking for Law and Order in the Marvel universe, but we'll see what it looks like. Expect to see Mark Ruffalo in that show. Also, we're expecting to see Tim Roth as Abomination. We're expecting to see a Secret Invasion series, as well as a Don Cheadle return as War Machine in Armor Wars. Don't know exactly what all that's going to look like. Two more big announcements were Christian Bale joining Thor 4, Love and Thunder, playing the villain Gore the God Butcher, and Mahershala Ali starring as Blade. So we are going to get a Blade movie. If you're a Blade fan, this is huge news. This has been something that has been talked about for a long time, and apparently Mahershala Ali actually was the one who brought this to Disney, that said, they came to Marvel and said, hey, I'm interested in bringing back Blade. This could be a game changer for that part of the Marvel universe. Then we have an announcement for a title for the new Ant-Man movie, Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania. We are going to see lots of time-hopping, quantum weirdness, and multiverse stuff happening over the near future. With Quantumania, expect to see Kang the Conqueror, who is a time-hopping villain in the Marvel universe. One of the most interesting and probably most expected announcements was that Chadwick Boseman would not be recast. The character of T'Challa will not be recast. They will simply deal with his death as needed. Whether or not T'Challa will die in the universe, or whether or not the universe will simply exist and T'Challa will be mentioned but not be seen, is yet to be explained. But Chadwick Boseman died earlier this year due to cancer, and it was a great loss to the Marvel Cinematic Universe. But they have decided they will not recast that character, which I think is the best idea. I think it's definitely the way to go. Now, what they say is that Black Panther 2 is a go, and it will explore the world of Wakanda more. So will we see a character named Black Panther? Will it be Shuri? I don't know. I hope so. It could be good. And a Fantastic Four movie is in the works. That's all we know about that. That's all I'm saying is Marvel plans on doing a Fantastic Four movie. So now, for sure, Marvel is for sure taking some of the Fox properties and planning a movie. Will the X-Men be next? I hope so. But when? I don't know. So many announcements, and I feel like this was just a big, long list of things. I'm super excited about some of the things that I think are coming. I think the Young Avengers could be a great idea. It feels like they're planning a Young Avengers event just from all the things they're doing. it will be a great opportunity for them to bring in a whole new cast and bring in whole new characters and kind of keep this universe going. We shall see. Last but not least, something very new, and this specifically has to do with The Mandalorian. So, spoiler alert, if you haven't watched the Mandalorian series, if you haven't watched the final episode, you might want to skip ahead about, 2 minutes. Otherwise, spoiler alert, there you go. Now I'm going to talk. If you haven't watched the season finale yet, Disney made an announcement at the end of the Mandalorian season 2 finale. At the very end, we see Boba Fett come in, do some things. I'm not going to spoil all of it. You go watch it. Do some things. And then at the very end, we have a title card that simply says, The Book of Boba Fett. And when we first saw that, everybody was like, what does that mean? Question mark is this part of the Mandalorian series, or is this going to be a standalone series? Some rumors are saying it is going to be a standalone series. I haven't seen that confirmed. I did see it on comicbook.com, which is a very reputable group. So if they said it, probably it is going to be its own series. But I haven't seen anybody else report that yet. As soon as I see other people report it, I'll let you guys know. So that is all the stuff that Marvel announced within just the last couple of weeks. Just so many things that are moving toward this crazy thing that is, the House of Mouse. So many announcements. Next week, my plan is to talk about some other properties. There are some other movies coming out that I want to talk about, and probably we're going to look at Warner Brothers. I know we looked at the DC Infinite a few weeks ago, but next week I want to talk about what Warner Brothers has in store for us, and hopefully we will have some more announcements that are going to be great news for us. But for now, I just want to say, if you're listening to this, I'm recording this just before Christmas. If you're listening to this before Christmas, Merry Christmas to you. It's almost New Year's, and we are hopeful that 2021 will be a better year for you if 2020 was a bad year for you. I personally take this as things happen, and every year is going to be its own thing. So what will 2021 bring? I don't know, but I pray that God will bless you and keep you safe during this holiday season, and we will see you next week.